What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. I love talking about this coin, man. It makes me feel like I'm home, right? I talk about all these other coins, I do technical analysis. I feel like I'm walking through my door, hanging up my coat, kicking my feet up whenever I'm talking about this coin. It feels like home. I don't know how else to put it. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you haven't. Let's get into this. We're sitting at about $510. Love talking about Bitcoin Cash, man. On a monthly perspective, this RSI looks very bullish, man. It looks very bullish, you guys. I do believe, and I think this prediction, I'm very confident this prediction right here, it's a simple one, but I think it'll age well. I think it's going to come out to be true, is that we're going to see by the end of this move, before we pivot or whatever, definitely by the end of the cycle, higher readings in the monthly RSI than Bitcoin Cash has ever seen before. I think that's going to happen. And with that, right, again, I say again, I'm sorry, for first time in this video, but I've said this a bunch over my career as an analyst. Anytime you're overbought, that's when you see the full strength of your moves come to fruition normally, right? So if I'm calling for something that's stronger, it's a stronger reading than anything we've seen before, that could call for a stronger move, potentially a stronger cycle than we've ever seen before. All of that lines up with everything that we've been expecting for the past like 2 years for Bitcoin Cash. I think it's going to be true, right? A lot of people look at the RSI, the relative strength index. We haven't even really looked at the price yet. We're just looking at the RSI, and they think overbought means sell, oversold means buy. But it's the relative strength index, RSI. It's a measure of strength, okay? When you're at your strongest, what are you doing? You're doing your strongest moves. That's how you get your strongest readings. So again, just making a very simple call, but I think that it has more complexities to it than it sounds like. We're going to see higher readings in the monthly RSI than we ever have by the end of this move up. Right, I think that's what we're gearing up for. It really does look bullish. It looks absurdly bullish. That's why I'm focusing on it so much. I love the monthly RSI. I love the monthly outlook itself. Right, this chart itself, it's very neutral. But we're about to break that neutrality, and it looks like it's going to the side of the green Dragon Riders, right? The red Dragon Riders are hiding in their caves, and they should be. It's our time to fly. It's not theirs. Their time's been taken. They had their fun. They had their fun. It's our time. It really is our time. And we are about to break out of this trend, you guys. We are literally on the precipice right now. 5 days, 20 hours left in the month. Watch us be above this line by the end of this month. Watch us close above that line and then flip this ribbon on the monthly positively, bullishly, right? Positively, I meant like upwards. Bullishly, I meant upwards. Getting a bullish cross, right? Getting a positive cross here on the monthly with this breakout. All the same things, right? Not a whole lot of new stuff there in that perspective, but it is something. We're so close to breaking out of it. It is something worth talking about in basically every single video, right? And I think any new Bitcoin Cash investor, any person that's thinking about investing in Bitcoin Cash but you haven't pulled the trigger, these things are something that should really be heavily considered, right? Anybody who knows anything about the EMA ribbon, this in itself, this whole look right here is very bullish. It's absurdly bullish. You're above the ribbon, it's crossed to the downside, and you're above it. You're finding support on it and bouncing. It looks like it's about to cross this. It's the right combination. Everything about this is absurdly bullish. It's on the monthly time frame. This would mean we have months, years of upside to go, right? And of course we'll have a bear trend within those years, but we've got more growth to go afterwards. That's all this is saying. Things are changing for Bitcoin Cash, you guys. Things are changing like we've never seen before. So it really is. I know it might be like the same old song and dance, but it really is worth getting excited about. It really is worth talking about. And the main reason I talk about this isn't to bore anybody who's heard this 1,000 times. I talk about it to put it on the radar of anybody who hasn't heard this before. And I know that can get annoying for people, but you know, I'm just gonna keep saying it over and over and over again until it happens, man. Until it happens, we will never get to talk about this again. Once we break out of it, it will be irrelevant. right? Once this crosses, it'll be irrelevant to talk about it, right? We're not going to be like, oh, you remember when this crossed, right? It's just like you're not going to talk about it. I don't talk about when we found support on this over here, right? Even though that was really bullish at the time, but you don't talk about it. Once it happens, it happens. So I'm going to talk about it as much as I can until it happens because it is that exciting. And I really do believe, guys, that when we break out, we're going to look back and it's going to seem more obvious in the future than it does now of how bullish, of what kind of cliff we're standing on. We're on the ledge of this phenomenal, I say a cliff. This might not even be a good example. We're on a rocket ship. we're at the base. We're at the loading zone. We're about to hit the button to lift off. I don't know. Bad analogy there, but let's get into the TA. Let's stop talking so much and actually get into the TA. On a weekly basis, we are growing in volume. Last week closed with the most volume that we've seen since April, the very beginning of April, since we were at the highs. This is the most volume we've seen since we were at the highs, okay, of this cycle so far. We are in the overbought zone. Last week did close us in the overbought zone, just barely technically. So it would be nice, I think, to see this week close green. It wouldn't be nice for it to close red. So we're down 1% right now. We have 6 days, 19 hours left. That's more than enough time to move up, and I think we will. But let's look at the shorter term time frames to get that going. Everything's looking right as far as the price action goes. If you look at the high to the low here, we closed above the 618. This, I would say, I don't know if this is our first attempt or not. Let's look at the daily. I don't know if I'd say that's our first attempt, but closing above it, right, when we found resistance the past couple times with added volume, getting overbought on the weekly, monthly RSI looks great, all the right things. All the right things. Daily RSI also getting overbought, looking positive, looking like it's in an uptrend. Seeing volume come in, nice to see. We are slowly moving up, and volume is slowly whittling away, which isn't as nice to see. But I'm not worried about it, right? If we were to pull back at all, the lowest that I would give us is about like 440, 450. And Bitcoin Cash, can it handle that kind of drop? It absolutely can. It's a very volatile coin, right? We've noticed it, right? Even on the way up here, you move up, you move down, you move up, you move down, and we're slowly but surely moving our way up, right? Last cycle, if we look at this thing, we go back in time, go far, far back in time. Let's see here. All the way back to 2021 times, right? On our way up, we moved down, sideways, slowly up and then down. Very, very volatile on the way up, and then even here, little moments of volatility as well. So Bitcoin Cash is just in its nature. It's a very tradable coin. It's a very, very volatile coin, right? When I say tradable, I just mean like buying and selling, like day trading. It's a very tradable coin. Even in this range here, right? You can just see it. Like if you're drawing some kind of channel up here, you just buy the highs or you buy the lows and you sell the highs, you're going to do well. You do it the opposite way, you're going to do bad. But it seems that simple. I drew it that simple. It's more complicated than that. But really what I'm saying by that is there's opportunity, and that's why I drew it that way, so you can see it, right? You can actually see the opportunities. There are plenty of opportunities to buy and sell and make some plays if you are a trader. It's a very tradable coin. I'm just defending that argument there. Okay, with that being said, back to the main point of discussion here. Daily RSI is overbought. We just got overbought 2 days ago. The last time that we were overbought, we saw 3 days in a row growing for a total from a low to a high of a 30% move. This time we got overbought. We got overbought on this day. We moved up like 16% and then down, just kind of volatile. Not as robust, but more volume. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like we are going to move higher, but the daily makes me think that we could stall and we can move down a little bit. And then even with this, like with this kind of these lows coming in, I'm not drawing it the best, but it wouldn't be crazy if we did pull back like around 450 even. I'm not expecting that. I'm not calling that, but it could happen is all I'm trying to say. 4-hour RSI. The 4-hour makes me think we're going to go higher. Bullish as hell. It's super bullish, right? You guys, anybody watching the channel for a long time, I don't need to explain it, but I will. Getting overbought, not getting oversold, holding the 40 as support, right? Living above the 50 most of your life. Like you look phenomenal. You look absolutely phenomenal. And even before this, right, you were finding support on your oversold zone, right? Just super. Very, very super. Higher lows as well on this little move here. I would think that you continue to move higher. I don't know why it's not letting me click out. There we go. You're at 512 right now. Bitcoin itself. Let's look at Bitcoin actually. BTC USD on Coinbase here. Bitcoin itself could correct. I'm expecting it to correct a little bit. Watch Bitcoin Cash move up. We've seen that, right? When Bitcoin moves down just a little bit, we've seen Bitcoin Cash move up a lot, right? That's actually what happened. Both of these moves here, literally both of these moves were in the middle of a Bitcoin kind of correction, like a 1%, 5% correction. So it wouldn't surprise me if we did see Bitcoin Cash move up here pretty soon. But it also wouldn't surprise me if that move happened, if it sold off, and then we're back to around like where we are anyways. But I suppose other than the daily, every other time frame looks bullish. So I am going to give it to the bulls. I am going to say that I think we move up. We're at $512 now. From a high to a low, the area that I would expect to move up to next would be at least 584. Or guys, and there's something else I just noticed that I want to cover. We might move up to that land above the $600 price. Right, 584 is the minimum target, but we really could over like the next 24-hour period, probably within this week, very likely within this week, we will be above $600, as high as 644. So phenomenal times ahead in a very, very short amount of time. Don't FOMO, right? If you see prices up here, don't FOMO, because you probably will get another chance to buy around the area that we're at now, if not just a little bit higher, definitely lower than 584. So if you see this pump, take it as a mark of like validation that we are continuing to go higher, but it's probably not going to be an immediate pressing matter to buy here. You can wait, and it'll probably just as quickly as it comes up, it'll come down. So just be aware of that. Bitcoin Cash is very forgiving in that sense, right? You don't have to buy here. Even though I think it's going to go up, you don't have to buy here, right? You could buy after it pulls back, and it probably will pull back, and it might be a little bit higher than it's at now, but at least now you have more faith that it will continue to grow. I don't know, just stuff like that. It's very forgiving because it does give those kind of second chance opportunities. But here's the other bullish thing that I noticed, and I'll finish off with this. Right, we tipped the 618, the golden ratio right here. We literally pulled back, tipped it right now today, found support on a weekly basis. It looks like we closed above it, back tested it for support. The prior week we found resistance in this area. This just all looks very constructive, and that this kind of look would suggest that we move up to the 786, 886 area, around 584, 644, somewhere in that zone, right? But time will tell. We'll see how it goes. I'm expecting Bitcoin Cash does make a move here, probably very immediately, like either today or tomorrow, or between, like maybe it starts today and it ends tomorrow, something like that. But I think that we are moving up. I think we are. 1 hour looks like it wants to move up, right? You had this like downtrend here, broke out of it, getting above the 50 here. You got a little oversold, sure, but I don't think that that's going to mean anything. I mean, you basically just found support right on your 123 moving average, the golden ratio, getting higher lows here. I think it's just a matter of time. I really do believe that by the end of the day, you guys, maybe we're not above $600, but it'll become increasingly more obvious that that's what we're in the midst of doing right now. We're in that move. So hopefully by the time I make a video tomorrow, I'll be vindicated, validated. We'll be celebrating, right? And that's all I got to say. So if you guys like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.